Dear listener, take a moment wherever you are right now and allow the weight of a single powerful concept to settle on your mind. Self-discipline. It is a word that, for most of us, is clouded by misunderstanding, often conjuring images of forced labor, harsh drill sergeants, or endless deprivation. We incorrectly believe that discipline is simply a relentless obligation designed to strip the joy and freedom from our lives. But I am here to tell you that this perspective is entirely and fundamentally flawed. True self-discipline is not about restriction at all. It is the absolute reverse. It is about precision, prioritization, and the ultimate liberation of your potential. Think of it not as a chain, but as the sturdy, indispensable bridge between the person you are today, with all your potential, and the extraordinary person you are destined and capable of becoming. It is, quite simply, the power to consistently choose what you want most over what you want right now. I am grateful you have chosen to dedicate this time to this essential subject. Over the next several minutes, we will explore the profound, multifaceted ways self-discipline doesn't just subtly change your life. It radically shapes your entire destiny. We will dissect precisely how this quiet, consistent habit acts as a force multiplier in every critical area. Your physical health, the depth and sincerity of your personal relationships, your financial stability, and your entire professional trajectory. We will frame this revelation around three critical interconnected pillars: the discipline of habit, which builds your foundation and character; the discipline of mind, which guards your focus and emotional peace; and the discipline of time and resources, which paradoxically creates the space for ultimate freedom and spontaneity. Prepare to shift your perspective entirely. Prepare to move from the chaotic, unreliable chase of temporary motivation to embracing the predictable, reliable, and deeply liberating power of self-discipline. This is the moment where you stop merely dreaming about a better life and start systematically and consistently building one, day after disciplined day. Let's unlock this unspoken, transformative power together. The first and most visible area where self-discipline fundamentally impacts your life is in the discipline of habit. This is where the foundation of your future self is laid, not with dramatic, unsustainable leaps, but with tiny, consistent, and often profoundly boring repetitions. We must understand a core psychological truth. Motivation is an unreliable guest. It arrives with magnificent, inspiring energy and then often vanishes the moment the sky is gray or the alarm clock screams at 5 a.m. Discipline, however, is a loyal and utterly dependable servant. It doesn't need to feel like waking up early or feel like writing that challenging report. It just needs to do the work, regardless of emotion. Your life, at this very moment, is not a reflection of your intentions. It is a direct, tangible sum of your automatic, daily habits. If you consistently choose short-term, immediate comfort, hitting the snooze button multiple times, opting for the path of least resistance for nutrition, or allowing yourself to scroll endlessly, you are reinforcing a life perpetually defined by inertia and a low-grade current of regret. Self-discipline is simply the conscious, empowering decision to actively trade that immediate, small, fleeting pleasure for a greater, more profound and sustainable long-term reward. It is the refusal to mortgage your future happiness and health for a tiny dose of present-day dopamine. It is choosing the difficulty and resistance of the gym floor, the focused reading light, or the uncomfortable conversation over the sinking comfort of the couch. Furthermore, this discipline is about relentlessly showing up even when your mood doesn't match your mission. This systematic practice of forcing yourself to act when the passion is absent is what, over time, forges true, resilient mental toughness and, most critically, unbreakable self-trust. Every single time you follow through on a promise you make to yourself, no matter how small, whether it's drinking that mandated glass of water or reading 10 focused pages of a book, you deposit a powerful coin of confidence into your internal bank. This unshakable self-trust is the bedrock of all your future successes and the quiet inner voice that says, I say what I mean, and I consistently do what I say. Without this fundamental trust in your own word, you are constantly battling your own intentions and doomed to live a life of internal conflict. This is the true power of disciplined habit. It makes you reliable, first and foremost, to yourself. The second, and arguably most subtle and important domain where discipline rules is the discipline of mind. This goes beyond merely controlling your physical actions. It's about controlling your focus, the internal quality of your thoughts, and the maturity of your emotional responses to the world. In the modern era, our most valuable, most finite resource is not gold or currency. It is attention. Distraction is the silent, pervasive, insidious enemy of genuine, deep achievement, and the discipline of mind is the only effective guard you have against it. This is the self-discipline to tell your own racing, restless mind, no, we are not checking the news headlines for the 5th time this hour. We are focusing intensely and singularly on this single, high-value task for the next 45 minutes, without exception. This mental filter, this rigorous practice of selective attention, is what allows you to successfully separate the meaningless, energy-sapping noise from the vital, empowering signal. It enables you to resist the chronic temptation of notifications and the constant information overload that seeks to hijack your intellectual energy and erode your capacity for deep work. More profoundly, the discipline of mind dictates the quality of your response to adversity, criticism, and crisis. When faced with criticism or setback, the undisciplined mind spirals immediately and reflexively into anger, defensive blame, or a debilitating cycle of self-pity and avoidance. The disciplined mind, however, engages a powerful mechanism, the strategic, unhurried pause. It forcibly separates the raw, chaotic emotion from the objective data of the situation. It analyzes the mistake dispassionately and logically, and asks the most powerful, forward-looking question of all. What is the precise, actionable lesson I can take from this? This high level of mental discipline prevents you from making compounding errors, those destructive, reactive behaviors that turn a small initial mistake into a major, avoidable crisis. It allows you to maintain absolute clarity, emotional equilibrium, and calm under immense pressure, which is, without question, the defining characteristic of true, respected leadership and high performance in any field of endeavor. The third essential domain is the discipline of time and resources, and this is the dimension where self-discipline creates genuine, abundant, and exhilarating freedom, shattering the myth that discipline must equal restriction. It may seem completely paradoxical, but profound structure and systemization are the very sources of spontaneity and flexibility. When you commit to disciplined planning and execution, when you meticulously decide what gets your energy, you are not limiting your life. You are clearing vast amounts of wasted mental bandwidth and future anxiety. When you intentionally batch your communication, setting specific, firm times for responding to emails, for deep creative work, and for strategic planning, you eliminate the cognitive burden of constant interruption and the paralyzing anxiety of the perpetually undone task list. Discipline gives you back the hours of your life because it forces you to prioritize with uncompromising, intentional clarity. It makes you brutally honest about what is truly important in the context of your goals versus what is merely urgent, easily distracting, or superficially entertaining. Think about the person you admire, the leader or the parent who appears effortlessly successful and present. They are not working magically longer hours. They are working with intentional, ruthless focus. They have the discipline to say a resounding, unapologetic no to 1,000 good but distracting opportunities so they can preserve their energy to say an absolute yes to the one or two truly great, trajectory-changing ones. When your time and resources are disciplined, you create a powerful, defended space for the very things that make life rich and deeply meaningful. Deep, undistracted, quality time with loved ones. You gain dedicated time for self-care and intellectual nourishment, and the focused, uninterrupted energy needed for genuine creative breakthrough and true innovation. This level of total control and freedom is the invaluable, magnificent reward for the discipline you consciously invest. So, let us conclude this journey. How does self-discipline fundamentally and utterly affect your life? It doesn't just provide a temporary structure, it completely shifts the balance of internal power. It moves the final decision-making authority away from your fleeting moods and emotional vulnerabilities. It places it firmly in the capable hands of your long-term values, your deepest goals, and your highest, most self-respecting self. It profoundly transforms your relationships by ensuring you show up as your most reliable, consistent, and dependable self, not just the motivated self that only shows up on a good day. You stop constantly overpromising and disastrously underdelivering. You become, in every sense of the word, a rock for yourself and for those who depend on you. It absolutely elevates your career and financial standing by guaranteeing consistent, high-quality output and follow-through, making you the person who is trusted to complete the crucial projects, the kind of person who is professionally indispensable and highly valued. Self-discipline is ultimately the most profound and necessary act of self-love. It is caring enough about your future self and your potential legacy to deliberately do the hard, necessary thing now. It is the realization that the hardest, most formidable thing to control in this universe is yourself, and that consistent mastery over self is the highest, most influential form of mastery there is. I want to challenge you today to start immediately, but start small. Choose one single tiny habit. Meditate for precisely 5 minutes, or write down the one key priority for the day on a note, just one, and commit to it with unshakable, humble discipline for the next 14 days. Do not rely on the fleeting rush of motivation. Rely on the quiet, steady, dignified strength of simply showing up and doing what you committed to do. Watch how that small, daily act of discipline begins to ripple outward, changing your habits, sharpening your mind, and reclaiming your time and focus. The life you truly want is not waiting for a miraculous large burst of inspiration. It is waiting for your next small disciplined decision. Go out there and use this profound power. The transformation is waiting for you. Thank you for listening.